This is the KhoodeelaarTV television channel being broadcast on the internet, only on the internet. KhoodeelaarTV television channel, broadcasting under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo Manifesto. This is timed at 11:10 GMT on Wednesday, the 24th of April 2024. The Daily Mail, which is overall under the influence of the evilness called Paul Dacre, D-A-C-R-E, is a crook, a racist, a fascist, an opportunist liar. But he sucks up to the incumbent holders of power in the Royal British monarchy. As part of that, the Daily Mail finds any excuse, absolutely any excuse, no matter how tenuous and tedious and lacking in real objective credibility, to promote Kate Middleton, wife of Diana's elder son, Williams. Today's excuse is, of course, mainly dominated by the picture of child Louise, apparently taken by Kate Middleton. But the other one that the real issue that I'm going to focus on in this edition is, I'll find this. The Daily Mail has got a piece, a feature-length piece, 2 pages spread, blood-soaked wars on prison wings between Muslim and white gangs. And it says in the subheading, and by an inmate turned author who's seen toothbrushes turned into terrifying makeshift knives and is still haunted by the screams of victims who had sugar and boiling water thrown in their face. This is by Chris Atkins, who is described as the author of Time After Time, Repeat Offenders, The Inside Stories. We shall discuss that and also the statements made by the parents of the two teenagers murdered by the criminal in Nottingham. Now, the item I was looking for, I can only describe this as the Paul Decker's Daily Mail glorifying a brothel keeper, best friend of Kate Middleton. That's the only way I can describe her. Glorifying the brothel keeper, best friend of Kate Middleton. The Daily Mail heading on the 1.5-page spread promoting her reads, "She's an old chum of Kate's, chair of Kate's Children's Primary School Parent Teachers Association. And she runs a £15 million, notice this, sex party empire for the middle classes." And notice further, but do Emma and her husband ever join in the orgies? Paul Decker answers, absolutely not. Now how the fuck does Paul Decker know that? So even a brothel keeper, by their own admission, is being painted as a saint by the Daily Mail. At every stage, as every kind of aspect of this perversion and prostitution of so-called free press, even a brothel keeper, self-confessed, a brothel keeper is being painted by the Daily Mail as a saint. And opposite that promotion for the brothel keeper mate and chum of Kate Middleton is a absolutely horrendous, typical hatchet job on Meghan Markle on the same page, page 22. And it's headed, "The dam of silence on Meghan's bullying at the palace has finally broken. This trickle will soon become a stream." And who is the author? The prostitute author, Tom Bauer. Tom Bauer is described as the author of Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors. On the pages 10 and 11, the Daily Mail is lying It says tragedy shows why Rwanda is vital. The tragedy, the latest tragedy of was there 7 or 5 people who were massacred in the channel this week? There's 5 of them, yeah? And its subheading says, Rishi, that is the Sank Sunak, says 5 deaths, including a girl of 7, underscores need for deterrent. Now, where do you begin to denounce this criminality? Rwanda is a synonymous word, synonymous to genocide. 30 years ago. And investigation after investigation, comment after comment from non-involved sources that know the truth about Rwanda and the whole plot shows that this dependence on the conservatives' dependence on sending people to Rwanda is absolutely doomed to fail. And yet, it says, the Daily Mail that is, Paul Decker, the liar, tragedy that shows why Rwanda is vital. So they're showing it as the panacea. Whatever problems they conceived or they contrive as existing in the area of migration, asylum, immigration, etc., is solved just by the word Rwanda. And there is evidence that even the current incumbent in the post of the Interior Department, James Stupid, that is cleverly, has to admit that Rwanda is not going to be the destination for more than a handful of people. Now, turning on the I newspaper, there is a comment, there is a commentary. But before I go on to the commentary, there is this piece about Rwanda flights. Rwanda flights likely to carry only a couple of dozen migrants each. Can you believe that? This is James Cleverly's picture, and he is being attributed this observation that flights to Rwanda are likely to take not more than a couple of dozen migrants each. Now that is not something that Cleverly would have said, or something that Cleverly would have allowed his name to be associated with, unless he knew compelling evidence existing within the government that Rwanda is doomed. That Rwanda is not going to be a solution of anything. Now here is a piece commentary by the I commentator Ian Birol, and the heading is Sunak's actions would stun a despot. Birol, of course, is talking about the same thing, Rwanda. And today's newspapers, so called, are full of the moron Sunak boasting about passing the Rwanda bill, so called. Boasting. The Sunak's actions would stun a despot, says Ian Birol. And the subheading is Prime Minister, that is Rishi Sunak, has, notice this word, disgraced himself. Ian Birol is saying that the mental slave criminal, Rishi Sunak, has disgraced himself. And the full sentence there, the Prime Minister has disgraced himself, comma, the Tories and Britain by backing Rwanda. So the first paragraph of this Ian Birol commentary reads as follows. The wily Rwandan leader, Paul Kagame, has shown great skill at fooling gullible Western politicians into supporting his dictatorship, whether by exploiting guilt over genocide, pretending to prove the success of aid donations, or pandering to their inflated egos. Well, this sums it up. Ian Birol himself has to admit that genocide is the central aspect of the identity of the regime, because the regime is fronted by the dictator, Paul Kagame, who was very much complicit with the environment and the culture of the genocide 30 years ago. Now, continuing into the second paragraph of Ian Birol's commentary, this knack led the likes of Bill Clinton, Tony Blair, Nicholas Scumboy, Sarkozy, and sleazeball David Cameron into endorsing Paul Kagame's barbaric regime as he held his nation in a vice-like grip for 3 decades. Yet even this desperate despot, I'll read that again because I have read the word veteran as desperate, so I'll read that again. Yet even this veteran despot must be stunned at seeing how Rishi Sunak has soiled himself his party and his country in support of his oppressive rule. So what Ian Birrell is talking about is not about the sending of the migrants by the UK Conservatives to Rwanda, but the actual, let's say, genocidist, fascist environment that is currently existing in Rwanda at the expense of the people of Rwanda. Something that the liars of the Daily Mail, of the scum, the Telegraph, the Express are most definitely in denial of. And because it's little English mentality of stupidity, there is no rigor in the reporting of the Guardian or of the Times, and most certainly not of the lying Daily Mirror or the Mirror Group. And the Times, in the editorial endorsing the passage of the Rwanda bill, is in denial of the fascist regime fronted by Kagame in Rwanda. And the Times editorial, the first editorial of the three of today, stupidly, the Times editorials are written by really ignorant morons. The Turning the Tide, and the subheading, after a rough passage, the Rwanda bill is law. It must be implemented with speed and determination. If the government's sinking electoral fortunes are to be rescued now, what the fuck? As I said, the Rwanda bill is being treated as a panacea to all the problems that the Conservatives face and the UK state itself faces, regardless of who is going to be taking over following the next scheduled, inevitable election that must be held during the calendar year 2024. So the subheading says, I'll read that again. After a rough passage, the Rwanda bill is law. It must be implemented with speed and determination if the government's sinking electoral fortunes are to be rescued now. How the fuck is that going to be implemented? Rwanda Bill or Rwanda Act or whatever is never going to even survive itself. And the stupidity of the leader writers at the Times is exposed every time there is a leader piece apparently dealing with a particularly hot current issue. Then the second of two letters in today's Times, under flights to Rwanda, actually admits that Rwanda is unnecessary. The Rwanda bill, that is, the Rwanda project, that is. On this one, the first letter from somebody called Jim Stather, writing from Tonga, Minsare. The last paragraph, the last sentence says, why the Prime Minister is so sure that his Rwanda policy will stop the boats. It's the same sentence, not the two sentences that I suggested. And there is further contradiction in the Leo McNasty column today in the Daily Mail. Remember, Leo McNasty is a racist criminal who was employed as an advisor to Leo McNasty was an advisor to the Labour cabinet minister responsible for social security, so-called welfare benefits, etc. In the first period of the government fronted by Tony Blair following the 1997 landslide victory, so McNasty says maybe the Tories are doomed. The fucker actually admits that the Tories are doomed. But at least under a reinvigorated Rishi, they won't go down without a fight. What the fuck? Going with a fight with Rishi fronting the fight, what does it fucking amount to? It amounts to nothing. So we shall be continuing on these issues and themes and topics in due course in later editions. This is ending with 38 minutes, or just under 39 minutes at 11:35 GMT.